Hi crafters, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm G and really excited to be here today. I'm going to be working with what we call as a fractured card. Now, there are so many possibilities with this card. You can make it a happy birthday, a Christmas, so sorry, just any cards you want. And so we're going to make two cards together, and then I have two more cards to show you. So make sure that you stay with us so that you can see those additional cards. But let's go ahead and head down to the crafting table and let me show you a card. Okay, this is what a fractured card looks like. It kind of looks fractured, right? And it is so easy to make that we wanted to share two cards with you today. Now, the first thing you want to do is grab your cardstock. And I have already cut a portrait card. This is just a regular A2 card. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We also have cut our mat for the inside. And I found this beautiful patterned paper. Look at that we're going to use as our top mat. Now, I want to remind you, all the supplies and measurements will be listed over on Creative Moments by G. Just click on my blog. You can see all the measurements and supplies for this card and all the other cards that we make too, so check that out. So we want to go ahead and cut this one like a first mat. So that means that it's 5 1/4 by 4. And now what we need to do is start making it fractured. Well, how do we do that? Well, we grabbed our nesting stitched dies, and we are using these two dies right here. Now, you can go ahead and cut this. If you don't have these dies, you don't need these dies. You can use your trimmer and cut the appropriate square. But we have ours already cut. Now, this larger one is going to go on the bottom, and it goes in the shape of a diamond. So I'm going to go ahead and lay some paper down as well as my silicone mat so that I don't mess up my crafting table. So let's go ahead and lay this down. Now, you can use your tape runner or you can use glue. I'm going to go ahead and just use my tape runner. And I'm just going to center this closer to the top, not right in the center of the card. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put it right at the top and center it both ways. So we have the same space here as we do up here. So it kind of matches. And now you are going to cut your strips. And your strips need to be 5 inches long by 1/4 of an inch. Or if you're going to do 2 strips, I went ahead and cut 1/8 of an inch. So let's go ahead and lay that down first. So we're just going to start right up here on this very top slanted line, and I'm going to just glue this down. Now I'm going to put a very thin strip of glue. So I am using my Barely Art. I love this glue, and if you're interested, you can go over to my Amazon store listed below this video, and you can pick this up. It is so great. I'm just putting a nice straight line. I'm just going to continue it out. I'm going to add this strip right against that square. Just going to push it down. Now I'm going to bring in another 8. This is a very fast card. That's why we like it. We got it out because we need to make a bunch of thank you cards for Christmas presents, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and put a thin strip of glue right against that. And I like to use this for small, tiny lines that I have to create. Really works well. Now you see it's starting to take shape. Did you know this card was so easy? Let's go ahead and just put our line again. Put this down. Now we're going to find our last little 8 and we are going to lay it down. Okay, and you can leave it just like that if you want. But what I did, because our card is pecan pie cardstock, I wanted to go ahead and use a pecan pie strip. So now I'm simply putting this one on top of this little strip that we have, and I'm just going to put a bead of glue there. Lay this down. Look how pretty that looks. Add another one. So you can see, you can very quickly make this card probably in around, if you have everything cut, ready to go, I would say 5 minutes? What do you think? Leave me a comment. Do you think you can make this in 5 minutes? We're going to just add some more glue down here. Turn it and add my final piece right here. Okay, and now all you need to do is flip this over and cut these off. And look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Now, once we bring in our pecan pie card, oh my goodness. And as you have probably already guessed, this is a masculine card. And so we are going to use a masculine stamp. Now, we took our stamp from He's All That. We're using this adorable Happy Birthday to a Classic. So to make it really pop, we stamped it in early espresso and we cut the next smaller square just so we could make this pop so it wouldn't be on the very vanilla. So let's go ahead and set this up on some dimensionals. Set it right here in the center of our card. And I'm going to set this up as well. I'm using all the edges of my dimensionals. Do you do that? Let me know in your comments below. I use every little bit. So I'm just going to take off the backing. Now you can lay this flat if you want to. That's not a problem. I just really like to raise my images. I think it looks so pretty. Now look at that. Look how cute that looks. Another technique you might want to do is run this through the embossing, any embossing folder that you have, just to give it some texture. I think that would look beautiful. So we're just going to add some glue right here on the back. Add it to the front of our card. Now we're going to stamp the inside mat that we have, and we have selected a saying from Textured Floral, "Every thought of you makes me smile." And we're also going to stamp this right here as a background for this stamp. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to stamp the background in a very light color, and this is crumb cake. And we're just going to put it right in the center. You can write around it. There we have very light. And we're going to bring in our sentiment, and I think I'll turn it this way. And our sentiment's going to be stamped in early espresso. Now we're just going to bring in our tape runner, add some strips, and add it to the inside of our card. Okay, this is just one example of how you can do your fractured card. But let's create one more together. This time I'm taking some beautiful Night of Navy paper. I'm taking this gorgeous pattern paper that I have. This mat goes on the inside. We have our strips already cut. We also took this embossing folder and we ran our little 2-inch square through it, and look how pretty that looks. So pretty. Just to give it some added depth to it. And then we cut out these beautiful stars using this embossing folder and the dies that go with this set. And so our star looks like this, and it's 3 different levels. So let's get that put together. First thing we need to do is go ahead and lay down our 2-inch square on our mat that we're going to fracture, right? So I'm going to put it about right here, and I'm going to just lay it down with my tape runner. Okay, we have the same distance right here. I'm going to bring in my glue, and I'm just going to put some glue strips, just barely do my glue beads right here on the edge. And this time we're only going to do 1 strip instead of 2 strips. So let's just line that up here. Let's make sure we have our silicone mat down. Okay, I'm going to put our glue right here. Lay down our strip. You can turn your card. And you can also put your glue on the back of your strip as well. But we have made so many of these cards that I kind of know where to lay my glue strip. And then finally this last one. And now we're just going to flip it over and snip off the excess. Are you ready? Look at that. Look at how pretty that looks. Now let's go ahead and add this to the front of our card. And I love the blue on blue. I just think adding this to a Night of Navy card just makes it so elegant. And so now all we have left to do is to step up our star using dimensionals. We're going to add this right to the front of our card. We're going to add it on some dimensionals. Just take the backing off. We're adding this right to the front. Right to the center of that square. Now look at that. Look at how pretty that looks. Very quickly, we were able to create this. We're just going to stamp a message right here. And this one is, wishing you the best and brightest holiday season. We're going to stamp that in Night of Navy. And here are the two cards. You saw how quickly you could make these cards. And we are here just to give you some inspiration on all the different ways that you can use this kind of a template. Now, I showed you earlier this one. Look how beautiful that is. See, we have our square, we have our strips, but we added a circle to it this time. You can very easily do that. You can also raise your sentiment right on the front. So you're not just limited to stamping on your square. Now, here is our next one. This is a So Thankful for You. And look at those beautiful flowers. This one, we just utilized the square. We stamped So Thankful for You. This one, we're showing you that you can add a circle and it still looks as pretty. You can just add your image. You can raise up another square right here in the center. So there's lots of ways that you can use this fractured card. And we hope that you were inspired just a little bit by what I showed you today. So I want to thank you for joining us today as we put together this fractured card for you and several variations that you could use. If you were inspired by this video today, we sure would appreciate it if you would give us a like, a share, and subscribe to our channel. Well, Monty and I want to wish you a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.